Hello everybody, I am Mustafa Javadian, a PhD candidate in hydrology. Today I'm going to present my recent project titled Canopy Temperatures Regulated by Ecosystem Structural Traits and Captures the Ecohydrologic Dynamics of a Semi-Arid Mixed Conifer Forest Site. Remotely sensed surface temperatures are directly related to plant physiology, ecology, and function, and they are relevant to both water and carbon fluxes. They can be obtained from leaf to global scales and be used to assess impact of climate change on ecosystem. Plant canopy temperature is partly regulated by evaporation and transpiration from the canopy surface and can be used to infer changes in stomatal regulation and vegetation water storage. Over southwest US, air temperature differences between day and night often exceed 15 degrees Celsius, and also plants have adapted to regulate their leaf temperature through transpiration or the loss of water through their tiny pores that called stomata. ECOSTRESS mission is the first satellite capable of detecting sub-daily vegetation water storage, but thermal sensors placed on Unmanned Aircraft Systems (UAS) have higher spatial and temporal resolution. Besides that, the eddy covariance technique, tree sap flow, and photochemical reflectance index (PRI) can give us diurnal dynamics of the plants. In this study, we combine thermal UAS, eddy covariance, sap flow, PRI, and ECOSTRESS data to assess diurnal vegetation water source over semi-arid mixed conifer forest site in southern Arizona. These are the instruments that we used in this study: a thermal drone over the Mount Bigelow Flux Tower that has a network of 3 sap flow sensors and PRI camera along with the ECOSTRESS satellite mission. The various instruments' footprints are shown here. The footprints of our thermal flights and ECOSTRESS are almost matched, but PRI and sap flow footprints are much smaller. This is the flight plan of our drone flight. We targeted a 150 meter by 150 meter box around the flux tower to cover the entire footprint of the Mount Bigelow Flux eddy covariance flux tower site. The 3D outputs of our results is shown here from 2 different drone flights. Both of them had better accuracy than LiDAR data to capture the structure of the tower that shows the reliability of the flight. This finding is supported by previous studies that found UAS-based images have a higher capability to capture the top of the canopy compared to LiDAR. Here you can see the outputs from the drone images that are RGB, elevation, slope, and aspect maps. Since there is a significant difference in the aspect and slope of our study area, we divided the region into 4 zones and studied each of them separately. We also classified the region based on tree density and tree height classes to compare water source between them. This figure shows our UAS thermal images from morning to afternoon, from 10:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. afternoon. Negative values mainly corresponded to a small amount of early season snow cover that persisted in region. Also, changes in the direction of light are clearly shown in the images, and high land surface temperatures mainly coincided with patches of sunlit soil. The diurnal canopy temperature and canopy vapor pressure deficit from our drone flights are shown here in different zones, different tree density, and different tree height classes. Considering the entire study area, canopy temperature was 1.8 degrees Celsius cooler than air temperature, which is comparable with previous studies. We also found the relationship between canopy and air temperature varied significantly according to tree density and tree height classes. The canopy temperature over taller and denser trees are 2 degrees Celsius cooler than shorter and less dense trees at noon. Taller and denser trees also warm up and cool down much slower than shorter and less dense trees. When we have increase in air VPD in afternoon, canopy VPD followed an opposite direction and it went down due to high transpiration from the canopy in the afternoon. Here you can see all data set that we used in this study in the flight day and in the entire winter season. The diurnal sap flow, PRI, and latent heat flux are shown for both flight day and winter. Air and UAS space canopy temperature and their deviation is shown here. For the full winter, we used ECOSTRESS LST as an index of canopy temperature to examine the capability of ECOSTRESS satellite. First of all, ECOSTRESS data are tracking the drone canopy temperature very well. Their deviation from air temperature is also similar to our drone data. Thermal data from both ECOSTRESS and UAS are in high agreement with PRI and sap flow data, but there are some disconnection between latent heat flux and sap flow data. There is a lag between sap flow peak and latent heat flux peak, especially in our flight day. It is likely because soil evaporation was dominant in the morning, but transpiration was more significant in the afternoon. This shows us tower might not be sufficient to partition evaporation and transpiration, but spatial thermal data, including thermal UAS and ECOSTRESS, are able to capture this difference and are consistent with sap flow data. The diurnal average of air temperature minus ECOSTRESS LSD, flux tower, latent heat flux, and tree sap flow data in different seasons are shown here. We dropped monsoon season because of high cloud covers and lower remote sensing data accuracy. Pre-monsoon season has the most variation in all variables due to hot and dry weather. Interestingly, there is some stomatal response at noon even in winter season, which is the characteristics of forest and semiarid region. The figure shows ECOSTRESS LST as an index of canopy temperature was 1.2 degrees cooler than air temperature, which is comparable by UAS air temperature minus canopy temperature that was 1.8 degrees, considering the soil impact on ECOSTRESS LST. Again, latent heat flux peaks about 12 p.m. in all seasons due to an increase in evaporative cooling over this time period resulted from decoupling between air temperature and canopy temperature. However, sap flow as an index of transpiration peaks at 3 p.m. in all seasons because of time-dependent redistribution of water within the trees. These results support a growing body of research showing that ECOSTRESS LST data can be used to inform transpiration dynamics. As a conclusion, we found canopy temperature and vapor pressure deficit differed significantly among different tree density and height classes for a semi-arid mixed conifer forest site. We also showed diurnal canopy temperature dynamics were closely related to canopy PRI and plant hydraulic traits, and we finally found satellite observation from ECOSTRESS captured aspects of diurnal canopy temperature dynamics that were consistent with site-level measurements. This work has been published in the Journal of Geophysical Research Biogeosciences. Please check out the paper for more details. As the next step for a follow-up study, we have recently installed a fixed thermal and RGB camera on the Mount Bigelow Tower to capture continuous 10-minute interval thermal and RGB images in about 5 cm spatial resolution. This rich dataset can give us the opportunity to capture diurnal and seasonal vegetation dynamics in higher spatial and temporal resolution. Thank you for your attention. Please contact me if you have any questions or comments.